Hi, everybody. This is day 1258. Day 1258. And I thought I would write a few notes before I started, but it got so late. So I will see if I'm on and write these notes while while I'm having this live stream because I want everyone to know that you know we understand that we are not just a lone case, that there are many cases like this, and that parents and family members, loved ones, just don't know how to address the incredible compromise and corruption in our agencies and institutions in order to get justice for their loved one. And so, one of the things that you can do, one thing is pray, absolutely pray. Never give up, never give up. And I know it's so difficult because, we have jobs and a family, loved ones, children, and, life must go on in the pursuit of trying to get justice for your loved one. And one of the tips that I don't know, that I hope that I can display to those families is to record everything. Record everything. Record everything. Write down everything. Um, there's lots of ways to record. And one thing that I've done is just good old fashioned pen and paper and write and write and write until your handwriting is so good because um, your motor skills are so finely tuned. That is journal everything. And my husband, ever since I've known him, he has kept a journal. He would keep those green little army books journal. The whole time I've known him, we've been married. What is it going? 34 years plus, and he's always kept a journal. So this is something that we have done, and of course, doing TikToks and doing these live streams. Whenever you're talking to someone, we went into the meetings with the failed generals, the failed leadership, and they're failed. Okay, they're failed leadership, and I'll get into that today because they choose to fail. Um, yeah, but we uh, brought someone with us to take notes, and they didn't really want that. We had to push that through. But we brought someone to take notes because you're not allowed any kind of recording devices or anything. I mean, I'm sure they record everything. They have devices in there, but we're not. And so it was an uneven playing field as far as remembering everything that was said. And so we took notes, but also because of the emotions of everything, we wanted someone else there that would take notes. And we really highly recommend that you take someone that's trustworthy, that is apt at writing, to take notes. You've got to record, find a way to record everything, be it electronically or just writing everything down. That is our filming is very good too. Filming is very good. So I think that is really, really important information that I can share that has um, the documentation that we have collected is massive. massive. And it is so important in this case. And today is where you will see it a little bit. You will absolutely see it because Richard's case is connected to the Walmart mass shooting that happened on August 3rd, 2019. They are connected, and if we solve one, we solve the other. And yesterday I posted up about Glendon Oakley Jr. Glendon Oakley Jr., a soldier there on Fort Bliss that was at the mall that day, Cielo Vista Mall. And he was an eyewitness to the gunshots, to unattended children, because, you know, you're freaking out and there's children there. And also mall cops with M4 rifles. M4 rifles. Those are for the military. Okay, they're not for mall cops. So why were these military dressed up in mall uniforms? That's the only explanation for mall cops to be carrying M4s. And we have, you know, recorded over and over and over everything with this case. And one of the things that came out with that report from Glendon Oakley is the training. The training that we requested. We knew that there were FTXs, field training exercises. We knew there were training exercises, and we wanted those dates. And we were not given those dates. Why not? Why not? Because were those dates, did they correspond to the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart mass shooting? And August 3rd, 2019 is Dallas Hart's birthday. I have to repeat that over and over, even though that is probably a coincidence. It's just really probably a coincidence. But there are so many coincidences in this case, and they just pop out when you journal them, when you record them, when you film them, and you go through it and you see the screenshots, when you see your own words jump out from the page that show these patterns. The patterns start appearing everywhere, especially after 3 years doing this. And so the pattern that has jumped out of this Glendon Oakley Jr. Investigation into Richard's case and to the August 3rd mass shooting, August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting, is very evident for us, because what they did to Asia Graham, what they did to Richard, what they did to so many, they did to Glendon Oakley. And, you know, I've been looking for a cause of death, and I have for him, because I believe it was April 8th. Was it April 8th? I want to see if I get this right. I think it was April 8th, if I'm right. See if I scroll through this. But I believe it was, yeah, April 8th. He was found dead in his barracks room on Fort Bliss. Now, I have to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about, you know, many other things that show this pattern that is very, very troubling. And so that's why I'm coming on late, because We had to document it, to submit it, right, to get it prosecuted. To get it prosecuted. Yes. Um, we are made the CID now, right? We're made like the CID. We're made like law enforcement, or the DA's office. We're made like the DA's office, where we have to identify the crime, identify the criminals, um, document it, and then turn it in, to be prosecuted. Okay, that's really important, because this is a pattern. Okay, a pattern doesn't end unless it gets ended, and a halt is put on it. So with Glendon Oakley Jr., what really comes out is that he did the right thing. Um, he was in the mall, and he heard the gunshots in the mall, okay, by Dillard's. Now, I also posted up another eyewitness that heard gunshots at the Dillards, the west side of Dillards, okay? So scary that she changed directions to run away from it, okay? And I posted up the map showing the way that they were running. And from Walmart to the mall, and then away from the mall out, into the backside of those buildings. And yeah, so that corroborates what Oakley was saying. He helped children, and he was rewarded for that, because there was no denying what he had done in his heroism. And it doesn't matter anything else. It matters what he did on that day. He absolutely was a hero, and his testimony was corroborated. And the mall cops with M4s was very, very concerning for the narrative that those up to no good, politically up to no good, that like to weaponize our institutions and our military, because it really seems like they did that with the M4s present. So with their narrative, this lone wolf, one shooter, let's put all the blame on one person, because then we can control the whole prosecution, right? We can control the prosecution. So they can really control the prosecution if they can control the DA's office, which apparently there's a pattern of controlling the DA's office politically, which is a no-go constitutionally. But they are controlling the DA's office, and seemingly, apparently, it looks like it, because there's no other explanation for their dereliction, right? There's no other explanation for their dereliction other than they are controlled politically, like puppets on strings, by somebody that has a business plan, and the business plan is not for the welfare of the American people, of the protection of the Constitution. No, that's not their purpose, or that's not their aim. Clearly, it's so obvious that I have no problem coming on a live stream and saying it. It's so obvious that these people are up to no good, and in order to meet their goals, it's much easier just to have one perpetrator with that's going through the DA process, the court process, the legal process. much easier than if you have multiple shooters that are going through um, the process, right? The legal process. So that's very clear that it is a control issue of the narrative, to meet the ends of those up to no good. And with Oakley, Oakley clearly disturbed their narrative, disturbed their plan, clearly. Okay? And Oakley, even though he was hailed a hero and so came down to El Paso to meet with first responders, he met with um, Glendon Oakley and gave him an award, rightfully so, and good for President Trump to have done that, because one thing that I remember from that time period is the absolute disregard that Veronica Escobar had for the President of the United States. Um, she made it personal. And, I remember uh, uh, that showed um, that she was not fit for office. Okay, that showed me, that showed many people in Team Find Richard Halliday that she was not fit for office at that time. I remember that. Absolutely. It was really disgusting display of a representative. And I have, very, very kindly requested her help. And after 3 years, she is a disgrace to El Paso. She's an absolute disgrace. And she is a disgrace to all women. She is a disgrace to every migrant that crosses that border, because she puts them in harm's way, and she knows that they are walking into harm's way. Um, Real chances of being trafficked, real chances of being raped, real chances of being put into slavery, real chances of all kinds of evils happening to those people coming over. You saw that poor little boy, just, desperate, heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. And Veronica Escobar, her name is all over that heartbreak, okay? I just really, really want to make that very, very clear, because she has oversight of Fort Bliss. And so what happened to Glendon Oakley is her responsibility, as well as the leadership on Fort Bliss, as well as the DES, the Chief of Security um, at that time. That was Thomas Kane on Fort Bliss. Absolutely. Also the DA. Where was Oakley's support? Okay? And I would even say the media. I would even say the media. Because what happened next to Oakley was so reminiscent of what happened to Richard, what happened to Asia Graham, what happened to so many other soldiers. Our leadership does not have their six, and the representatives do not have their six. Um, they do not represent them, right? They do not represent them. They're obligated to care for their constituents. The leadership is obligated to care for their soldiers. The DES, Thomas Kane, it is his job to secure Fort Bliss and to secure everything in Fort Bliss. Okay? And we give them everything. We give our representatives everything to do their job. We give our leadership in the military everything to do their job. And we give the DES everything to do his job. and they chose not to. Okay? They chose not to. All right? Which means that they're criminal. And absolutely they're criminal. And with Oakley, he suffered for a long period of time with harassment, threats to his life. The media participated in it. The police department participated in it. Okay? They were not careful with this soldier, with this eyewitness whistleblower. They did not, even though they might want to scrutinize what he said, they did not transfer him out. They did not give him protection. They did not do it. And on April 8th, he was found dead in his barracks. And other things happened as well. And, I've been told the cause of death. And I'm just saying it is the dereliction, the failed leadership of Fort Bliss Command. So many 23 years old, a young man, and they failed to protect him. Absolutely failure. And this demonstrates a failure of all everything that these 44 four-star generals and admirals, including many flag officers, choose to be a failure as a leader, because that's their aim. It's intentional malice of our military, very clearly. Now, do they have the ability to protect people? Well, let's look at the CID. Let's look at Leilani Hart. Leilani Hart is a convicted criminal. She has over 50 incidences. 50 incidences. She is she was convicted for false reporting to law enforcement agents. She broke a restraining order. She has engaged in harassment over and over and over again. She has immigration issues. She doesn't even use her real name. She's from Western Samoa. She has assault issues. Okay? Did she get protected? Did she get protected by the media? Yes. Is she being protected by the media? Yes. Is she being protected by CID? Yes. They even lied, saying that she's a second cousin, when in fact, she's not a second cousin to Tavita Nusa. She was rolling in the hay with him. And he's a married man and she's a married woman, and they're not married to each other. And he's a CID special agent at the time who coached her to submit that notarized criminal complaint against her husband, James Courtney Hart, to the FBI. And dirty agent Marlon Soto protected them with false statements, false statements. And even the law enforcement has noted that that was a false, that she's unreliable, and that Soto has given false statements. Now, that doesn't clear James Courtney Hart from the allegations that she made in that notarized criminal complaint affidavit July 22nd, 2020, which was her confession of having child pornography. Remember, Dallas Hart went look into her house for that child pornography, rushing over there. Her confession of incest in her family. You know, come on, Dallas. Let's have a defense statement on that, because it's illegal. And if you're Richard's platoon leader, that's not too good. And then the sexual assault of a 7-year-old in Leilani Hart's master bedroom. That was an active duty soldier's child. A friend's child. Hey, friend, I have incest in my family, and my husband is sexually out of control, and we have child porn, but leave your child, leave your child with them so we can go out and whatever, have some fun, but you can leave your child with them. And then, we can open up Heart's child care, and we can have Leilani and the Royal Islanders dance club, without any scrutiny, without looking into anything going on. And that's not the end of it. She confessed to having immigration issues in that notarized affidavit. And she also confessed of deadly threats by her husband with illegally acquired weapons. Illegally acquired weapons. I mean, it goes on and on. And so, that criminal complaint affidavit, I don't know why CID had it, why it didn't go to El Paso Police Department and then to the FBI. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I do know that it happened, and the only thing that makes sense out of it is because she was having an extramarital affair with Tavita Nusa, and he was helping her, coaching her, and getting it into the FBI, getting it accepted into the FBI, and it took the FBI 6 days. This is an unreliable source. Okay, unreliable source. Let's see a report on that one, because we got it squared away. She's a family member. She's a second cousin to the CID. She got protected. The media protected her. The command protected her. Her close male friend, DES Thomas Kane, protected protected her. They didn't protect Oakley or Asia Graham or Richard. They didn't. No, they protected Leilani Hart. Okay? And are still, and even the command, still obstructing justice, still protecting her. But yet, they will put a smear campaign out there. Remember that, and I believe it was CID going up to the guard mount in front of the MPs with a smear campaign against Richard. And there was a smear campaign against Oakley. I don't know if it was on purpose smear campaign, but it did cause a lot of problems from the El Paso Police Department. And the command absolutely knew it had happened, and they did not go to Oakley and take him out of El Paso or secure him and give him the support that he needed. Absolutely, they did not do that. They did not have his six. And you know what the news said? The CID says there's no foul in Oakley's death, and the CID, that's dirty Agent Marlon Soto. That was dirty extramarital affair. Compromised, totally compromised. CID Special Agent Tavita Nusa. This was in 2019 and early 2020 when he still had his badge. Now since, 2021, he lost his badge. Tavita Nusa has. But when Oakley died, it was y'all, CID is going to investigate. They're so dirty. Why didn't they the Walmart case is huge in the history of the United States. Why didn't they protect him? Because he said the mall cops had M4s. They were very upset with all of that. Because M4s are the weapons that the Army carries, not a mall cop. So Leilani Hart gets the protection, right? But and this is CID, pattern of interference in criminal cases. Absolutely. And the FBI office also there in El Paso. Absolutely. You know why I know? Because of our experiences with Danae Katzen. She's also a convicted criminal. It took a month before Soto was giving in to us and saying, oh, okay, yeah, I'll bring her in and question her. Because he knew her. He was protecting her. And the same thing with Belen Rocha. The same thing. These are patterns of protecting convicted criminals and that are interfering with cases. And yet, when you have real eyewitnesses, you allow them to be harassed, intimidated, mentally abused, no support, threatened. You know, Oakley was threatened. Yeah, so this is the way they're running things. If you want the military to do the right thing and you're reporting on criminal activity, they don't have your six. And that's how they can keep their criminal syndicate going, is this intimidation of whistleblowers, intimidation of eyewitness testimony that really, really is damaging. This is how they keep their criminal syndicate going. This is how they keep their gravy train going, because, you know, they got to fulfill that business plan to keep that gravy train going. You know, Richard's case is connected to the Walmart case through Danae Katzen and Belen Rocha, who her family has history of tampering with government documents. Okay, it's not just her. And yet they're protecting her. They protected her for months and months. Maybe it was a year they protected her. And what were they protecting? Protecting her from? Us finding out her name? Because we're very kind. We want justice. We would never hurt Belen Rocha. We're not violent people. We don't have criminal history of harassment, of assault, of drug dealing, assault with a deadly weapon. You know, we don't have that. And they're trying to keep her name out of it, because then you would look up her family. You would look up what she's all about, what's going on, because Richard called CPS on her, right? Richard called CPS on her. So, you know, was Eddie Rocha upset about that? And if he has a criminal record of violence, I mean, we weren't told. We weren't told that. And yet 3905 Bliss Avenue has placed Danae with the Katzens, with the Rochas, with Felix Valenzuela. That's Patrick Crucius's defense attorney, with the medical examiner. It's all right there. And Marlon Soto, with all of his access, because, you know, he was like, you know, I was never locked in. I could go wherever I wanted to go because I was essential. I was essential. With all your essentiality, why didn't you investigate properly? Why haven't you done that? You dirty agent. You're a dirty agent. because a simple investigation would connect the two cases. And we wouldn't be in the going on the 4th year with the August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting case, and we wouldn't be going on into the 4th year with Richard's case. We would already have justice, and we would have peace. And those that are up to no good would be stopped. Their criminal activities would be stopped. Yeah, it's a pattern by the CID, and it shows that they're with the criminals. That's what it shows. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for coming on. I hope that I covered everything that I wanted to cover tonight, because it's so important to understand that our law enforcement, including our leadership there on Fort Bliss, choose to defend the criminals and not have our service members back. Okay? That there's something else really big going on here, and that means there's something other. This means that the Patrick Crucius lone shooter narrative is blown to pieces. Blown to pieces. There are so many witnesses that debunk that narrative, and yet that narrative was being defended. The criminals were being defended. That's what that means. There's a pattern of defending the criminals. And the Walmart case is no different. No different. And if you haven't heard me say it before, Patrick Crucius, we have confirmed that he is autistic. So, it's really, think about that. Just think about that. It's awful. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for coming on. Please share. Please share this. This is a huge, I understand what I'm saying. Absolutely I understand what I'm saying. And I know that these people have a pattern of retaliation. We've lived through it. And, they can just scare you into just going along with their Vanity Fair. And we're not going to do it. We're not going to go along with it. Because someone somewhere has to take a stand. 23 people, 24 counting Oakley, 25 counting Richard, and more. I'm sure many more. And these are people that are trying to do the right thing. Not one is good, right? Not one. But these are people trying to do the right thing. And the criminals are being defended. That's a clear pattern. So somebody needs to take a stand. And anytime you take a stand, it's a risk. So please share. Please share. Thank you so much. God bless you. And, we're still in Christmas tide. I see people just already forgetting Christmas, but we're still in the miracle of Christmas. There's 12 days of Christmas until Epiphany. And I was thinking about that this morning. I, just wanted to say, don't forget about that miracle. The government will be on his shoulders. The Prince of Peace, God with us. It really is something to celebrate for 12 days. 12 days. That's a perfect number. 12 is a perfect number. There's something about that number. And to think about baby Jesus for 12 days, God with us, the Prince of Peace, the government will be on his shoulders, the Almighty, the everlasting God. That's very, very powerful. Very powerful. And they saw the star and they followed it. And we're heading into Epiphany. But we're not quite there yet. We're still in Christmas tide. So if you've put up your Christmas decorations, you put it up too soon. You put it up too soon. It is still Christmas tide. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing.